Okay, let's talk about something that stresses a lot of us out: money. But what if I told you there's a super simple, really powerful rule that can help you finally take control and start building some real wealth? Let's dive right in.
So let me ask you something straight up. Do you ever feel like your money is controlling you and not the other way around? Like you're always just reacting to the next bill, the next expense, and you can just never seem to get ahead? Well, you are definitely not alone. But today, we're going to change that. We're going to look at a framework that puts you back in the driver's seat. And here it is. This is the 50-30-20 rule. It's actually a really elegant, super straightforward way to split up your after-tax income. So 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, and then a really crucial 20% for your savings. Think of it less like a budget and more like a blueprint for your financial freedom. All right, so let's start with the biggest piece of the pie, your needs. This 50%, this is the absolute foundation of your entire financial life.
So, what is a need exactly? Well, it's any expense that you absolutely cannot live or function without. We're talking about the total non negotiables, right? The roof over your head, the food in your fridge, the electricity that keeps the lights on, plus essential transportation and medicine. These are your bare bones survival costs.
Now, I already know what a bunch of you are thinking. There's no way my needs are only 50%. And look, if that's you, this rule kind of forces you to face a tough reality. You've really only got two clear choices. You either have to downgrade your lifestyle, maybe get a cheaper apartment or start taking the bus, or you've got to find ways to increase your income.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It's all about a mindset shift, prioritizing what's actually in your bank account over what you look like to other people. I mean, think about it. Guys like Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, they aren't exactly famous for wearing flashy designer clothes. They get it. They know that real wealth is about financial security, not just looking the part.
Okay, now let's talk about the category that quietly drains our bank accounts and puts our discipline to the test. That 30% that's dedicated to your wants.
What's so helpful here is how clearly this draws the line between what's a need and what's a want. A basic smartphone to stay connected? Yeah, that's a need in today's world. But the brand new, latest iPhone just to show it off? That's a want. The groceries you cook at home? A need. That $5 coffee from a fancy cafe every single day? Totally a want. Getting this distinction right is, well, it's everything.
So here's a little mental check for you. Before you spend money, just pause for a second and ask yourself this one simple question. Am I buying this for my own genuine happiness and peace of mind? Or am I just trying to impress other people? If the answer is to impress someone else, that is a huge red flag. Seriously, getting a handle on this 30% is what unlocks the last and most powerful part of the rule.
And that brings us to the most life-changing part of this whole thing, the 20% that's all about building your future. This is it. This is how a totally normal middle-class income can actually turn you into a millionaire over time.
This right here, this is the secret sauce. See, most people spend their money first, and then they try to save whatever's left at the end of the month, which, let's be honest, is usually nothing. The wealthy mindset completely flips that around. You pay yourself first. The second that paycheck hits your account, you immediately move 20% into savings, like it's the most important bill you have. Because it is.
So what do you do with that 20%? You don't just let it sit in a savings account. No, you put it to work. You use a concept so powerful that Albert Einstein himself supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world: compound interest.
Sounds pretty impressive, right? Eighth wonder of the world. But what does that financial magic actually mean for your bank account? How does it take these small, consistent savings and turn them into a fortune?
Just look at these numbers for a second. By investing just $5,000 every single month, consistently for 20 years, you could end up with somewhere around $4 to $5 million. Double that to $10,000 a month, and you could be looking at $10 million. This isn't about getting lucky or trying to time the market. It's just the incredible, undeniable power of time and consistency.
It's so easy to think, what difference is a few thousand really going to make? But that's the exact mindset that stops people from ever even starting. You just have to remember this simple truth: every single drop counts. And over time, all those little drops build an entire ocean of wealth. Okay, so you get the rule, you've seen the potential, but how do you actually start? What can you do today? Let's break down the very first practical steps you can take, like right now. First things first, if you have any high-interest debt, we're talking credit cards here, that is your #1 enemy. The interest you're paying on that is probably way higher than any investment return you could get. So use that 20% and just attack that debt. Get rid of it. Once you're debt-free, then you pivot that whole 20% over to investments. And to make this all work, you have to track everything. Use a free app, see exactly where every single dollar is going. That knowledge, that is power.
Now hold on. Before you go all in on investing, there is one more critical piece to your financial security. You need a safety net. The goal here is to save up 3 to 6 months worth of your essential living expenses. And let me be really clear. This emergency fund is totally separate from your 20% savings for investments. Think of this as your financial life jacket. If you lose your job or you have a sudden medical emergency, this fund is what keeps you afloat. It stops you from having to go into debt or, worse, sell your investments at the wrong time. It's your protection from all the crazy, unexpected stuff life throws at you.
You know, at the end of the day, none of this takes a genius-level IQ or some secret Wall Street tip. Becoming wealthy, it's not rocket science. It's just discipline. It's the discipline to stick to a plan that works, month after month, year after year.
And that really brings us to the final, most important point of all. It is so easy to look back and wish you had started sooner, but you can't change the past. The absolute best time to take control of your money, to plant the seeds for your future wealth, is right now, today. So the choice is yours. Are you going to let your money keep controlling you, or are you finally going to start controlling your money?